Hey guys, Randy here, and welcome aboard the Seabee Traveler Channel. Well, I got in late last night, but I found a place to stay. We're not too far from Bisbee, probably about 15-20 minutes, but I got in kind of late. I had to track down the caretaker and see if they had someplace I could stay. This is the Desert Oasis campground slash RV park. Um, so you can see here they've got some pull through lots, and there's some people with stairs here, so they're probably like semi-permanent residents. They also have a couple cabins to rent out if you want to do that. But I stayed up they have a couple designated tent areas, and the one I stayed at was in the upper area because they weren't sure if it was going to rain last night, so they kind of hooked me up there. And it was right next to a cool little recreation center they have in there. TV, pool tables, looked like maybe a ping pong table. Pretty nice. Pretty nice little place. I didn't hear much noise last night either. No dogs barking. They do have some wildlife. You might find a Gila monster out here, they let me know. And of course the snakes, and there's a cottontail. They have some huge jackrabbits out here too. But anyways, I thought today I'm gonna head up to Bisbee, a neat little old mining town. And it's done pretty well for itself since the mines have closed down. It's kind of a lot of tourists come in. It's got some nightlife, and we're up in elevation, probably around 5,500 feet. So it's a little bit cooler than it is in the Phoenix area. So you get a little bit of escape from the heat. On the way to the campground, I drove through Bisbee just to kind of get a layout of the land and get some ideas where I wanted to drive through. But it was kind of late. It was, I don't know, late evening, and there seemed to be a lot of people out and about. Let's see, we're gonna take a right here. If you go left, that'll take you down to Douglas, right on the U.S.-Mexico border. Did a little construction work down there, probably 10-15 years ago. But yeah, anyways, last night when I was driving through, I was pretty busy actually in the evening time. So it looks like it might be a nice nighttime getaway. Yeah, so I wanted to just drive around a little bit, do a little quick drive, and then we'll get out, stretch our legs, walk around some of the old Bisbee. And then there's a mine tour that I wanted to go on, the Queen Mine Tour. I think that'll be pretty neat. As well as right next to Bisbee is the Lavender Pit. It's an old open pit mine that closed back in the 70s. And that's just off to the left, but we'll come back to that. First I wanted to get into town, into Bisbee, when there's nobody around. It's quiet early in the morning. It's kind of my favorite time to walk around these places. Yeah, you can see the mine, the open pit mine, just to the left. Yeah, at one point, Bisbee sat on the richest mineral deposits in the world. There was something like 8 billion pounds of copper and 3 million ounces of gold, silver. They mined zinc here. But today, it's kind of just known for it. Look at this cool bus here. But you can walk around, like you say last night, there were a lot of people walking around with nightlife. And I've seen pictures. It's a pretty neat little place at night. It's colorful. I think they even still have some Christmas lights strung across the streets. but parking seemed to be a little bit limited, so just be prepared for that. There's a lot of hotels here, really old ones too, built in the early 1900s. You can see here the streets are really, really narrow. A lot of these, they're barely wide enough for one car squeezing by cars that are parking. These are a lot of two-lane roads or two-way roads like this. It's just like walking, or it's like going through a canyon of. Look at this cool little rock wall there. American Legion Club. So that's cool, a little walkway going over the road. This is because there was some construction. They force you to go this way. I guess they're improving the road or something here, but well, I see a parking area right up here. So I think what I'll do is get parked, and then we'll take a little stroll.
A few good friends for some company. If you'd like to stay, you don't have to leave. We'll leave the lights on and the door unlocked. If you drop on by, you don't have to knock. We're happy to share whatever we've got.
Oh, this is going to be neat. It's really quiet. But I think we'll head uphill first. Make it easy to walk back down. But you can hear the birds. Let this guy pass. But yeah, you can see how old some of these buildings are. And that's looking back down towards the other side, the lower part. And there's the Bisbee, the mountain down there too, Bee Mountain. Yeah, I just think this all started like in 1877. An Army scout was filling up some canteens in a creek, and he discovered some copper ore. So between there and end of the century, Bisbee became the largest city between St. Louis and San Francisco. Yep, that's true. It was known as Queen of the Copper Camps. This building ahead, the Bisbee Royale, it's over 100 years old, but it was originally a church. And just look at that, sticks out, doesn't it? That's the thing about Bisbee. The other thing I noticed walking up was this waterway through here. And since most of the old town is in this big valley, hills on both sides of you, you got to have a lot of room for water to run off so you don't flood out. And there's so much history here, so colorful. It's beautiful here. You can hear the birds chirping. There's hardly anybody out right now. These old, I guess they would be apartments. Maybe you can get Airbnbs here. But this is another really old building right here. It was built in 1890, and you can see those big, huge balconies. They have a king suite and a queen suite. I imagine staying here late at night, or staying here watching people go by at night. But I'm noticing a lot of stairs. Because it just, I noticed some stairs back here too. And the other thing I've seen is that there are some signs about like the Great Stair Climb or something like that. Check this out. That's pretty neat. Some old stairs. Got to be a picture in there, huh? But I saw it's like I don't know if it's part of a stair climbing tour, but I thought that was pretty neat. But yeah, it's a neat little old hotel here. You'd probably have to really book in advance, I would imagine, just the 2 suites. There's a view of, let's see, Castle Rock in the background. But check out that house with the that embankment. What is holding all that in? Like wood holding it in. And then we've got the other thing that caught my eye here was that big old fly on the wall. Man. But that building ahead of us, the inn at Castle Rock, it was built in 1895. And I saw an old picture back in the day. It's all black and white photo. I'll see if I can dig that up and show it to you. But it kind of gives you a good idea of the inn and then Castle Rock. I think it's set up like a bed and breakfast now. So that'd be kind of neat atmosphere. I noticed that old addition to that house up there on that hill. Wow. But you can see parking is pretty limited. There is so much history here. And what's really nice too, especially this early in the morning, is you can see the sun is up. Oh, check out this mural. Peace Wall, Bisbee, Arizona. I like that. And they even included the stairs in that. That's pretty predominant, all these stairs. But yeah, the sun's up, and inside in this canyon area, it's still nice and cool. Big old trees, you can hear the birds chirping. And there's more stairs. Look at that. That's a cool little house. The garage down below, it's up on stilts kind of. Plaques with names on them. That's a hefty set of stairs there. But maybe it's just like a memorial staircase. Some more of Castle Rock right there. Oh, there's an old building. What that building was across the street. Well, that's pretty neat. Whatever it was, had a fireplace. And they painted it up. Looks like windows, and they painted some brick on the fireplace mantle there. And you can see that tree, the roots are busting up that foundation too. Wow, that's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. See, here's another, right here is another ditch for all that water runoff. That'd be pretty neat. I bet you after a nice rain, it'd be really neat to see how much that runs. Look at that set of stairs going up that. These houses are probably worth a pretty penny around here. And Bisbee's doing really well. It's it's eclectic, a lot of different types of shops, bars, restaurants, hotels. Somebody put a little bit of time into that artwork and that foundation. Here's a neat little hole in the wall place, and literally it's kind of a hole in the wall where the patio goes up into the rocks. There's little stairs up here that you can climb to get farther up there. Neat little area. Stop, get something to eat. Small little outdoor eating area. Alright, well, I think we'll head back down and check out more of the old downtown area. Well, you kind of really don't know where to start. There's so many old buildings to look at. Like the Bisbee Grand Hotel right there. built in 1906. Man, you just get this feeling like you're walking in a canyon of buildings. I mean, literally, you are walking in a canyon. The name of the road is Tombstone Canyon Road. So, oh man, it is so neat being down here, and especially early in the morning like this. There's still birds everywhere, no crowds, just a few people walking around. And then the way they just build these roads is it kind of has a feeling of Sedona mixed with Jerome. But you get the Sedona vibe with all the different types of shops and everything, and then the history kind of like Jerome. And you don't have the crowds, especially this early. Boy, for someone like me who loves history and especially architectural history, I like looking at the way they built stuff back in the 1900s, 1800s. 1900s mostly because it's more of a brick structure, more permanent structure. And like the problem we had in Tombstone was a lot of the 1800 buildings are wood, and then they were susceptible to fires, like town fires. So look at these different types of shops, art galleries. And I really like the way they've preserved all the old buildings. And they're still in use. Baliza. And you kind of get the feeling, what's up there? The old sign. No sign hanging there now. Medallions up in the corners. The birds are chasing me, I think. It's pretty quiet. And back in 1883, right in this area is where the Bisbee, what they called the Bisbee massacre, happened. Some guys robbed a store, and there was a gunfight between the thieves and the citizens. Ended up killing 4 people. Oh, here's a group of people walking around. Looks like do they have backpacks? Yeah, they even have backpacks on. Or at least one does. Designated carriers of water. Well, more history back here. This is called Subway Street. What a unique name. I wonder why Subway. I don't think there's any town in Arizona that has a Subway in it. Refreshments, beauty salon, vintage, eclectic. Huh. Well, we'll take a walk down here. Looks a little bit more sketchy. Just backside of buildings. I like these little details. This water runoff, little scupper built up with grout material. That's the kind of stuff I like looking for. It's kind of a neat little mural here. Bisbee Mountain. Angel looking over it, maybe. Boy, this side looks a little bit darker. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. But I think we'll take a walk down Subway Street. Sometimes it's neat walking down these side streets, or like back behind these buildings. because this is where you get to see where, like these old staircases, those old doors up there, what were they used for? And these are the sides of the building nobody really planned on seeing that much, so they would cut some corners or they didn't put as much detail in them. Like an art lab. Oh, check this out. Little sculptures. Maybe an old oil rig or a mine shaft tower. Interesting. Yeah, but like look at the backside of these buildings. To me, can be just as interesting as the front. Kind of the seedier side of the buildings. Oh, that's a cool mural right there on the left. I like how they use the angles of the building there to get that look. Here's our American Legion building again with the walkway above us. See what I mean? You kind of get this feel of the canyon, the buildings. These old steel doors. I could just imagine going back and loading these shops up, horse-drawn carriages or something back here, supplies. It's kind of what I think of. Check out that. Is that some sort of water drainage? Or electrical? Maybe that's electrical where it drops down and splits off. That's what I mean. Like what? Whoa, hold on. Is that building coming apart on the corner there? That's what caught my eye. Well, we're back to the truck. Yeah, what a neat old town. You got this old tractor, toys, an old sewing machine stand maybe, an old keg with a engineer lantern on top. Oh, check out this old pedal car with a Jack Daniels bottle and a rope in it. But anyways, I think we'll head back to the truck, and wanted to make my way up to OK Street. It's looked pretty neat. It's kind of a windy, really narrow road, kind of get you up above town a little bit. So I thought it might be a neat little drive to take. This old masonry building on the right, that was the old jail. You can see the bars in the windows. We buy. And up here on the right, you can see where that dome, that's the Pythian Castle. Pythian Castle. It was built in 1904, and it was home of the Fraternal Society Knights of the Pythia. And nowadays, it's apartments. But it looks the same as it did back in 1904. You can see more hotels. Wow, this is a narrow street. More, there's hotels, more apartments. Wow, this is a two-way street. It's hard to believe. I hope I can make it through here. Yeah, barely enough room. I wonder how many people they've had to tow away because people couldn't find parking and they come up here. They have little cubby holes for their cars. Prime parking area. Wow, and they still have to have room for the trash guys to come pick up the trash. Look at that old roof down below. This is interesting. These narrow old streets like this. Oh, hey, they've got an idea here. Covered parking. And on the right, there's a little cubby hole in the foundation for parking. Yeah, this is neat. I'm glad I came up here. I wasn't sure what to expect. There's another view. Straight ahead is that Pythian castle. They had knights here, Knights of the Pythias, back in 1904. Oh, this is the Silver King Hotel, Copper Queen Hotel. You could spend all day here and just keep finding old buildings. And if you have the time, you can investigate what probably each one of these were. I really enjoy just gazing at these old buildings. Bisbee Brownstone, another old hotel. Let's see, there's a sign here for the Copper Queen Hotel. Yeah, you have to take a right here, but that's an old hotel that Theodore Roosevelt and John Wayne stayed in. Another little tidbit of history for you. There was one more thing I wanted to do here in Bisbee, but it's not open yet. So I think we'll kill some time and we'll head over to the Lavender Pit. It's just a mile or so down the road. Alright, so before we get to the Lavender Pit, I wanted to give you an aerial view of Bisbee. You can see that's Tombstone Canyon Road that I walked down, and that parking lot that I was in where that car is driving. And you can see there are so many older buildings, and I probably hit maybe 10% of the history in this town. I really do want to come back when I have maybe 2 days to spend here. And you can kind of see the Pythian castle on Aweigh Road that we took along the base of that mountain. There's Bisbee Mountain in all its glory. And then you can see where we start getting into the Lavender Pit over there.
All we need is a place to be and a few good friends for some company. If you'd like to stay, you don't have to leave. We'll leave the lights on and the door unlocked. If you drop on by, you don't have to knock. We're happy to share whatever we've got.
Alright, here's the parking to the Lavender Pit. Little memorial here, and I see some storyboards down there too. Kind of a funny story. My mom liked coming down here. So whenever they were in the area, they came. But she always called it the Purple Hole because she could never remember Lavender Pit. I have never been here before. Driven by it yesterday, but let's see, the Lavender Pit. Harrison M. Lavender, 1890 to 1952. He was Vice President, General Manager of Phelps Dodge. Oh, you know what? I thought this was a Lavender Pit because of the color. But it's not. It's because of his name. Wow. I think that's kind of a misconception. That's a neat little memorial there, too. We'll go read this monument. I think that's a misconception of why it's called Lavender Pit. Sergeant Arthur J. Art Benko. We salute our valiant warriors. Supreme sacrifice. Also, the Army awarded Sergeant Benko the Silver Star for his heroism in aerial gunning. Oh, there he is, on a bomber. The Goon. The V for victory after successful mission. Very interesting. Very cool. Very cool. And here's a list of other guys that lost their lives in World War II. Very nice job. See if there's any. Yeah, there's a plaque over on this side. Alright, let's go see if we can take a look at the purple hole. Miss you, Mom. I found they have these little holes in the fence that you can use to look through. Just look how big, and you can kind of see from the colors why people think it's Lavender Pit because of the purplish color. And you can see it closed back in 1974, and you can see how weather is just the rains are slowly eroding all these old roads down, and water runs down. After a good rain, there's probably some water down at the bottom. I've seen pictures where there's like a little small pond down there. But slowly but surely, it's getting some fill back in it. I like how those roads zigzag going down, and you can see all the cut lines to keep it from collapsing. Boy, the colors are really beautiful to look at. So it was back in the 1950s when they started stripping this, and it ended in 1974, so it took them 20 years to dig this out. And they did it so that they could get out the low grade ore, the copper ore. No camping or overnight parking. And trust me, when I was scrambling last night or yesterday evening to find some place to stay, I took a hard look at this place. Oh boy. But I found a good place to stay last night, so I'm pretty happy. Let's see here. Environmental Regulation 101. I know a lot of these open pit mines have these explaining some of the environmental regulations and the eventual reclamation after the blast. So yeah, just blasting it and hauling it out in those huge trucks. Let's see, viewing the pit. Well, this says open pit mining at Bisbee began in 1917. I had read somewhere else that it was in the 50s. Let's see, the crusher is up there, and they have some concentrators. So I wonder what they mean by 1917, if it was just getting started and they really ramped it up in the 50s. If you know, let me know. Yeah, they dug the pit to get the lower grade ore out because there was a big need of copper with all the electricity and car electronic gizmo from fridges to iPods were needed. The stockpile. Boy, look at all that waste rock back there. Stuff they couldn't use. Oh, there's some. Also, we're just seeing part of it. The pit was created by over a 60-year period. Alright, so I see. So 19, the Sacramento pit, then the Lavender Pit itself was in the 50s. I see. The Holbrook extension, the 60s to the 70s. Okay, now that makes sense. See, I knew it. I read it on the internet, so it must have been true. Alright, well, I think we've killed enough time. I'm going to head back to the truck, and we'll head into Bisbee to get to that Queen Mine tour. I'm kind of excited about seeing that. And plus, it's right inside the mountain where it's going to be nice and cool. So that'll be welcomed as well. All right, let's get to the truck, and I'll pick back up over there. All right, here we are, the Queen Mine Tours. This is going to be neat. It gives you a history of how they did the mining tunnels inside the mountain with the higher grade ore. I see a little plaque on this rock explaining the importance of copper mining. That's a neat. I think that's part of the original structure. Copper Queen Mine. Look at that old. It's an old pole cart. Looks like for the railroad inside. They had all sorts of contraptions for inside there. Little crane. Well, I need to get inside. Tour's going to start and I have to get in and pay. Let's go do that. Barely made it. We're just getting in line to get our hard hats and our lights. Then we'll head out to get onto the trolley. They'll take us inside the mine. It's kind of funny. I got in. I was, let's see, there's an open spot up here. But I missed some of the orientation while I was paying, so the cashier had to get me caught up on where they were. I usually trying to get to these places early, but I was interested in that mine, finding stuff out, or that open pit.
Okay, everyone, we go inside. Please keep your feet on the running board. Do not stick your hands out. They're short rocks and timber. If you drop anything at all, we've not been down to pick it up. Let one of us know. We'll pick it up and bring it to you. You guys ready to go? Yeah. Ring the bell means we're trying to be moving. Please don't get off. What you guys know?
I have cards in
Okay, everyone, kind of hold on a little bit. It's a little jerky at first, all right? Y'all ready to go? Yeah. Been ready, right? Okay, everyone, if you'll please get off here on this left-hand side. This is a stope. I want you to follow me up these steps. Watch your footing going.
Wow, this is kind of neat. A lot of these timbers, they said, are original timbers. And it's super dark, so I'm not sure how much I'm going to get.
Hi. They thought this was another tombstone, silver mine only. They got to this point right here and they hit what they call the mother lode. Very high grade copper. They back 12-pound hammer. This is called a double jack. The reason? One man's got to hold that steel and turn it while the other one swings his hammer. You got to remember, all they had was candles. But they got very good at it because they knew tomorrow their partner would be swinging it. You mess up today, pay back tomorrow. Now, it would take them about 9 hours to drill 6.
Leave the lights on in the door. Drop on by, you don't have to know. Happy to share whatever we got.
I'm trying not to talk too loud. Check out this. This is what he said was a fire door. So if there was a fire, you had to try and get past this and shut the door behind you.
You fire this thing up within
He's
6
explaining a
days,
lot,
you
but
can
he's
see
so
you
far up there that I
go
can't
like this.
see
That dusty.
what he's really talking about.
They use it a very short period
I'm just kind of
time,
hearing.
but long enough, they got the nickname.
They said this drill right here
From the
was
substance
kind of
dust.
the most
Then we
dangerous
went to
job
this
you can
one.
get, the vertical drilling,
Got a water
because
port
it'll
right
come
there.
caving
just
down
put
on you.
water in the center, work out. If you line them
Check
all
out how they would shim the wood to get it tight up against the rocks. Make sure everything fit that way. See, some of these are all. And this is a typical blasting pattern with dynamite up inside those holes. And they would, in the right sequence, blast them
This is the southwest
to
shaft.
blow it up and then try and clear it out as much as they could.
It doesn't go to the surface. It just goes up to the 700-foot mark. So there was never any ore hauled out on this. Men, materials, mules. Mule's too big, it won't fit inside. They had a big sling. They sling that mule up, tie his feet together and blindfold him, hang him under it. Some of this timber was put in here in 1917. The only kind of timber we ever used in these mines here was pine and fir. And it was all harvested out of northern Arizona and northern California. When you guys were going in the shop this morning to get checked out, if you looked on that left-hand side of that mountain, you might have seen those concrete squares.
And check this out. Hope you weren't shy. But this was the toilet that you had to use. No privacy whatsoever. We kind of had something like that when we were in Desert Storm. All right, let's get caught up. All right, well that was fun. Little advice, if you have long legs, try and pick a spot where you have these lower boards, like right in front of me. I didn't have that. I had to crunch my knees up on that higher spot there because I was late to the party. But yeah, check this out. This is what they pulled us in with. All right, well, it's time to turn our lights in. We have little headlights that you can use to shine around stuff. Hard hats, turn your vest in. Well organized. Really, really enjoyed this. There's my hat. Get my hat back on. But yeah, it's kind of dark in here. Have I mentioned I've got a I've got a better camera coming for my low light conditions inside like museums and stuff. But we're inside the main entry, and I wanted to come by and check out what they had in here. Lots of the copper and ore deposits, polished rock. Wow, that's a neat little globe back there. Geodes, small ones, crystals, and lavender. Lavender crystals are cool. Chevron amethyst. Little bowls made out of this. Very pretty. Check out these. Oh, this is like a replica of the mine. That's the pit, the SAR shaft. And you can kind of see that's a replica of the main entry that we're in now, actually. And then that Copper Queen Mine, the entrance that we went in. That's neat. On here they give you kind of how the mine shafts worked. That's so much work. I gotta tell you, after being in there, that is one job that I could not have done. And just a reminder, if you like this kind of content, just click that like button and subscribe if you haven't. I really do appreciate it. It helps the channel grow and lets me get out and do more stuff like this, which I really enjoy. So I hope you enjoy it too. This is these are neat exhibits of how that gives you an idea how dark it was. I couldn't imagine. We had lights. I couldn't imagine being down there and just working by candlelight, especially before they had these type of drills. When they're at candlelight, swinging that double jack, and somebody's sitting there holding that for you, man, those are some big chunks of rock. Nice little gift shop area. It's pretty busy in here. It is nice and cool in here too. Lots of rock and jewelry, t-shirts. And there's the store area in there. Wow. Reminds you of quartzite a little bit in here. With all these rocks and geodes. Well, that's a neat shell. It's only $1,700. It's a cool tree there too. Alright, well, I think that'll do it for in here. You get outside a little bit. Alright, well, that was fun. If you're ever in Bisbee and you haven't done this, do yourself a favor and check out this mine tour. It's well worth it. It didn't cost a lot. It was only about, I don't know, an hour long. So I think that's going to do it. And I'm going to sign off. And just remember, never say goodbye. Always see you later.